What's up, blue collar scholars? Last brewing video, kind of a silly one, and I know, like I try to be a very positive person, and this round I'm hating on stuff. Like, I hated on your K-cup, now I'm gonna hate on your childhood. I know, but not really. So one thing that I want to talk about, because this is something that I grew up on, a lot of us grew up on, and I want to talk about why it is the worst way to brew coffee. This is the percolator. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When was the last time you've seen one of these bad boys, huh? Forever. You know why? Because they're awful. We grew up drinking the worst coffee ever. Actually, not us, because I drank some of it, but not a lot of it. Mostly my parents did. So this is just a standard metal pitcher, really. Why do I have a percolator? Because I needed a metal pitcher. I use this for boiling water. When I first started off at the farmer's market, I didn't have electricity. And so I couldn't boil water with electricity. I had to boil water with fire, which was a hazard, a terrible hazard. And I'm surprised I didn't light any children on fire. I know, seems crazy, but parents let their kids run around fire, even with me waving my arms and yelling. Hey, didn't light any kids on fire? We're good. Okay, so the elements of your percolator. Metal pitcher. And this thing, right? So this is a little metal, basically a metal straw. Goes all the way through. When you heat the water, it goes up through this and out the top. Okay, so it's kind of like a siphon. Siphons work very similar. I wish I had a siphon to show you, because that would be like a cool progression from percolator to siphon. But you heat the water up, pressure shoots it up out of this. Then we have this little cup. This is where we would keep the coffee grounds. We would fill those up, usually with good old stuff from that red tin can, Folgers, you terrible monster. And then we have the lid with the filter on it. This is basically just fill that up with coffee, throw that on top of your straw. So what this does is takes water, pushes it basically because of the heat, up through the straw, out through the top, over onto your lid. So that it kind of fills this top up, and then that water will fill this canister up, get the grounds all wet, and then it will drip back down through the bottom of the cup. So, cool in concept. So what is the problem? The problem is actually the heating source. And so a siphon, where that's different. Okay, no, let's finish with the percolator, then we'll talk about the siphon. So we take this bad boy, throw it in here. It just kind of, there's no method to the madness at all. It just sits in there. You close it up, you get your fire going, and you set this thing right on top of your fire, and you let it burn. So what it's doing is that your fire's heating your water, heating. As it gets hot enough, it'll push it up. It kind of creates a vacuum, pushes it up that straw, trickles it down. Then when you brew the coffee, where does it go? It goes back down into the pot. Then it's heated, shot back up the straw and down. So it's kind of like this cycle of brewing that shoots it up, washes the grind, shoots it up, washes the grind, shoots it up, washes the grind. The problem is not only that you're doing too much with the grinds, you're washing too much water over it constantly. Basically, you are burning the crap out of your coffee. Okay, so not only once you get your nice coffee in there, you're going to, let's be honest, we use these things at camp. We're not using beautiful coffee. We're using crap. It is what it is, right? So we're not gonna do too much damage to it, but just for giggles. So you're gonna burn it bad no matter what, because you have to get it to like a boiling point for it to shoot the water up, for it to work. So you have to heat it really hot. So your percolator, it's gonna burn all of those coffee molecules down there. So that's why it is super dark coffee, super strong coffee. It's not really strong, it's just that it's burnt. And so it's bitter, and we consider that strong. So this is really and truly the worst brewing method. I mean, even if we just took a cup, put grinds in here and just filled it up and let it sit in there all day long, would be better than putting it in a percolator because it doesn't burn it, right? Same principle, the hot plate on your brewer. Same thing, it's burning your molecule, your coffee in there. So then a siphon comes in and it does the same thing. It heats water, pushes it up through a hose, over coffee grounds, down, it brews, except what it has is it has a different little reservoir. So you kind of heat your water hot enough, but then the coffee doesn't come back down to the heating source. It stays up here in this other little bowl. So if this percolator did that, if it had like a metal bowl in there that the brewed coffee could sit in rather than go down to the bottom and burn on the fire, that would actually be pretty good. Like that would probably be a great camp coffee. So if you invent it, give me some credit. At least buy some of our coffee if you're gonna make a bunch of money off the idea. But what that makes me think of is this. It's the moka pot, really. Like the moka pot works kind of the same way. This thing just uses straight fire to brew coffee, okay? So you put your, and this is kind of the same principle, kind of like a siphon. You put your water in there, this goes on the fire and it's hot. Pushes it up through there where your coffee is, okay? Pushes it up, kind of creates a little bit of pressure, okay? Pushes it through this, ends up coming out of this little tube into a different reservoir. I'm telling you folks, first person to invent the percolator, the camp coffee with the little reservoir inside of it so that it doesn't go back down and burn it, we're gonna make some cash. But really, this actually, the moka pot, now that I'm sitting here talking about it, is probably the better camp coffee option than the percolator. This was $9, I think, from Walmart online. This, I think, was $15. This would be worth it. This would be very much worth it to get this over that. So, if you're a camper, you're an old school coffee maker, if I had a recommendation, I'd switch over to the moka pot, get you away from the percolator. Sorry, I know that's what we grew up on, kids, but it's just not the best. And we knew that. I think deep down we knew that. Let me know, what kind of coffee did you drink growing up? What kind of coffee did your parents drink growing up that it just was like, oh, this is terrible? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear, I want to talk to you about it. Gonna be some fun stories. So with that, I will say adieu.